How we doing there, folks? So the Red Wings are playing the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight. They have played them once so far. I have it highlighted in yellow here. They won in a 4-2 victory. Only other note I have on this game is they had 26 shots and 46 shots against. So pretty good save percentage for whoever was in that. I have to imagine it was Husso, and they did not do a good job getting pucks to the net. So I have them categorized as a danger team. I'll come back to this Excel sheet. Let's go to Twitter really quick. Okay, so Chiarot-Seider makes a post. You guys know who he is, saying addressing the Chiarot-Seider pairing issues. So of the 68 D pairings with 200 plus minutes together at 5v5, they have the worst 5v5 goals for percentage at 33% and the seventh worst 5v5 goals for at 42.7%. A couple of games ago, I saw the statistic that said they were out there for like 11 goals for and 29 goals against 5v5, and Hronek and Mata have pretty much the inverse. So let's take a look at where Chiarot and Seider are at. They're in the Your Goalie's Nightmare category, quadrant, if you will. The other quadrants are no goals for anyone, elite, everything is happening. And Hronek and Mata are way up here, smack dab between no goals for anyone in the elite quadrant. Let's look at what a fantastic team is doing for their top two defensemen. So Carolina Hurricanes have their top two D pairings in the elite section. That would be Brent Burns, Jacob Slavin, Brady Shea, and Brent Pesce. Their other D pairing is Calvin DeHaan and Chatfield, and they're in the no goals for anybody category. The best defenseman in the league right now, it looks like Rasmus Sandin, Liljegren on Toronto, or at least they're in the elite quadrant. Jake Chikrin, Gostisbehere, I forget his first name, Shane Gostisbehere, also in the elite. So why are Chiarot and Seider still playing together? That remains to be seen. Let's peep this thread really quick. I think he makes another comment. Iyer goes on to say, Lalonde thus far has been willing to juggle his forward lines, but I think moving forward it couldn't hurt to juggle the defensive pairings to see if he can get more from the back end. He thinks it should be Wallman-Seider, 40% of the 5v5 minutes, Mata Hronek, 36%, Chiarot Osterley, 24%. So he wants Mata Hronek to be the same and Chiarot to go on the third line pairing. So if that ends up happening, Chiarot going down and Seider having a D partner switch, and we see a dramatic increase in Seider's 5v5 goals for percentage and expected goals for percentage, we can determine what the issue was there. Am I right? Probably. You know, there's been a lot of forward shuffling just because of injuries. Raymond's moved up and down between the first two lines. Kopp's moved up and down. Rasmussen's moved up and down. So this next game that's coming up, speaking of players moving up and down, Vrana will not be playing, so Soderblom's going to be in the lineup. Zarnik got assigned to GR. So did Sebastian Cossa, for that matter, from the Toledo Walleye, where he's played 17 games and he has a 2.8 something goals against per game and sub 900 save percentage, so not doing too hot. Let's see what Prashant continues to say. The thing that surprises me is how long Lalonde has stuck with this. At 5v5, Chiarot and Seider have played 424 minutes together. He already mentioned the 5v5 goals for percentage, 33%. In the last 5 years, only 3D pairings have played it as much together as Seider, Chiarot, and had a worse 5v5. So historically doing terrible. They gotta cut that out. Why do you think they're playing so bad? Is it just because Chiarot roams around the ice unintelligently and Seider has been making some bad passes? Maybe he's lost confidence because he plays with somebody who's just not, stable. Okay, that's 3 pairings in total of 261 pairings that have played at least 424 minutes together at 5v5. So, yeah, not looking good for them. I think I liked one more thing today on Twitter. Amadeus Lombardi, number 93 for the Flint Firebirds. In 100, he has 100 career OHL points in 98 games, so shout out to him. See what else I liked. Nothing of importance. Hockey related, that is. So let's go back to this little Excel file. I have created. So I made it to project out how many wins the Red Wings are going to end up getting. And I had to, initially, I only included games played against teams that are remaining in their schedule, but it didn't make much sense to me to ignore the teams that they've already played, which they're not going to play against, which included Minnesota, Anaheim, and one more team, the LA Kings. So they're not going to play them the rest of the season. Categorize the teams into 3 categories: danger, bubble, and should win games. I've got very hard. I separated the wins and OT wins, so they're not combined. So as you can see, for each category, there's that statistic. If you want to go through the danger teams again, I have Boston, Vegas, Carolina, Toronto, New Jersey, Dallas, Winnipeg, Tampa Bay, New York, Pittsburgh, Edmonton, Colorado, Florida, Washington. Bubble: Buffalo, Ottawa, New York Islanders, Seattle, Vancouver, Nashville, St. Louis, Calgary, LA Kings, Minnesota. The only teams you could argue that might be dangerous teams are the LA that aren't in the danger category and are in the bubble category are Calgary and LA, possibly Minnesota. The only reason I did not include Calgary and LA, Calgary because they have goaltending issues, and LA's, I want to say because they have a similar amount of points as the Red Wings. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. Should win teams are Columbus, Arizona, Philadelphia, Chicago, Montreal, San Jose, and Anaheim. They don't have any more games against Anaheim. They won against them and had one OT loss against them. So what I ended up getting from doing all this nonsense is this whole mess over here, which if we want to get into the interesting part is the adjusted, let's see if we can scroll up here a little bit, the adjusted strength of schedule. So I made the separate categories. I created a win percentage for all of those games. I separated the regulation game win percentage to include only regulation games. So there's an regulation game win percentage. There's an overtime game win percentage, obviously loss, and then loss for both categories too. And I created an expected win percentage for each of those categories. And I gotta fix this really quick because you can't read it. And it comes out to them playing 86 games. I had to adjust it later to make it 82 games, but in an 86 game schedule, they end up having, let's see, where is it? Adjusted wins. An adjusted regulation win percent, or 29 regulation wins, 29 regulation losses, 6 OT wins, 22 OT losses. They play, let's see, how many overtime games do they play? I forget what the exact number is, but they play a shit ton of overtime games, 28 adjusted out of 86 games. It's quite a bit. When you adjust it to be 82 games, it comes out to, in 51 remaining games, 27 wins, 28 losses, 5 OT wins, 21 OT losses. Like I said, they play a lot of OT games. So it's technically 5 plus 27, 32, 28, and 21, which gives them 87 points. Pretty much where around they were projected at the beginning of the season. So how do they do against these danger and bubble teams? Well, if you're wondering, they have played, let's see, they have played 13 games against danger teams, 9 games against bubble teams, and 9 games against should-win teams. They have a 40% winning percentage, 50% regulation winning percentage against danger teams, which is not bad, but go to their OT winning percentage. It is 33%, 67% OT losing percentage. They have played way more games in OT than they would like against these teams. I guess it's only 3 games. The sample size is not that big, and they haven't done very well against them. But again, they're just overall not doing that great. They allow quite a bit of shots and quite a bit of goals. Is that true? Let's see. They've allowed the most goals against the Rangers. They allowed 10 goals against them. in how many games played. Where are they at? 1, 2, 3. 2 games played. That's not good. They've allowed 8 goals against the Devils in 2 games. They've scored 7 though. So yeah, I don't want to cover this too much more in detail because it's just a lot of information that's not necessary. But yeah, to summarize, I think the Red Wings are going to end up going 32, 20, 28, and 21. That's quite a bit of overtime losses, but again, they play a lot of games in overtime and they do terrible. They got a really hard schedule coming up. They got a really heavy amount of difficult teams to play. Like they have 26 danger games remaining, 16 bubble games remaining, and only 9 should win games remaining. But they're gonna get Vrana back soon. Maybe Chiarot-Seider will get split up, which could lead to benefits on the offense. Fabry's going to come back in January, most likely. Who else is coming back? Bertuzzi could come back. And as long as Husso doesn't get injured, I think they'll be fine. If he gets injured, they're fucked. Let's be real. So let's hope they do well against Tampa Bay tonight. I'm looking forward to the game. Make some more content later, but that's all I got for you.